Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Programming, and that is because we are getting breaking information. It is now confirmed. We've been checking with our sources. The Reserve Bank has conveyed to Yes Bank that Rana Kapoor, the managing director and CEO of Yes Bank, his term will end in January of 2019. Remember, when he got his extension, it was a caveated conditional extension that Rana Kapoor got, and now I have confirmed it from my sources that the Reserve Bank has intimated Yes Bank that Rana Kapoor's tenure will end in January of 2019. Remember, even when his extension news had come in, the conditional approval had come in, there were questions as to why the Reserve Bank had basically suggested or said that it was until further notice, and that basically left the street wondering what was going to come next. And this is what we are given to understand. Rana Kapoor's term will end in January of 2019. Let me go across to Lata. Lata, as I pointed out, these were the questions that were being asked when we saw that extension, caveated extension, conditional extension being given to Rana Kapoor, and now it's clear that the Reserve Bank has said January 2019, and then it's curtains.
Well, I'm only trying to guess the sequence of events that must have happened. As in the case of Axis Bank's CEO, maybe in the case of Rana Kapoor as well, the RBI just asked the board to revalidate the appointment. In Axis Bank's case, the board and the CEO took the hint and said, okay, I'm deciding to step down, and they went through the process. In this case, probably the board returned the same appointment and said, we revalidate and reappoint, rename Rana Kapoor as our choice. And RBI had only perhaps 2 or 3 days before which the term itself ended, and that was, August 31st. So not wanting to create confusion, it is possible that the Reserve Bank bought time and said that, okay, the current managing director continues until further notice, and then perhaps they put heads together. It's not the same in the case of Axis and Yes Bank. Yes Bank is a promoter-run bank, so it's not easy to take a notice, to take a stance immediately that you have to find a new person. So perhaps the Reserve Bank thought over the matter and then decided to give 6 more months, within which the board will have to find a new person. It's likely that this was the sequence of events, but still, this is slightly different because Axis is institutionalized. It has seen a change of headship from PJ Nayak to Shikha Sharma. It knows how to manage change. It's a widely held ownership. A lot of institutions, LIC and Suti own. So it's a very institutionalized bank, whereas this is still a promoter-run bank, and that's why RBI must have taken time.
Okay, so let's go across now to Ashwin Parikh and Sandeep Parikh. Gentlemen, thanks very much for joining us. Mr. Parikh, let me start by asking you, this is now confirmed. I have it from highly placed sources that Mr. Kapoor's tenure, as per the Reserve Bank's latest directive to Yes Bank, will end in January of 2019. In August, on specifically the 30th of August, when the Reserve Bank had given him an extension, it had given him a caveated or a conditional approval saying that until further notice. What do you make of this?
Well, I mean, 2 or 3 quick observations. I mean, first, of course, is that the private sector banking, I mean, all the 5 or 6 major private sector banks, I mean, there's going to be some form of leadership change or the other. Till about January 2018, we wouldn't have even guessed, that there would be so many changes coming up. But here we are. I mean, now, once again, I mean, as Lata was pointing out, in Rana Kapoor, it's going to be a little different case altogether. He's a promoter, and then, of course, on account of his background, he's also been leading the bank, and then leading the bank all this year. So it's going to be a major change, I must admit. Succession plan point of view, I don't know whether the bank is ready with any succession plan. But then, of course, they have 6 months to complete that.
Okay. Well, Mr. Parikh, I'm coming back to you, but let me get Sandeep in. Sandeep, this is the first instance where a promoter is being asked to step down. Actually, we have only 2 promoter-run banks. The other one, Ramesh Gelli, went down, and then Centurion also was promoter-driven, one promoter-driven, and then it was bought over by HDFC Bank. We actually have only 2 instances of promoter-run banks. Uday Kotak's bank and Rana Kapoor's Yes Bank. In the case of the previous set of private sector institutions, it was HDFC. They were all institutions who got the license. HDFC, IDBI, ICICI, and the rest. This is a difficult problem, isn't it? A promoter will have a huge impact on the bank. This is a difficult transition, you would say?
I think so, but again, I would challenge RBI's way of doing this. I think if they find somebody inappropriate, they should say that very clearly. I think playing with shadows is not a comfortable position for RBI, really. I mean, I think SEBI does it well in terms of if you have a new CEO, you need a prior approval. So the board needs to decide who the CEO is.
Sandeep,
the regulator.
well, you know, I actually went through a lot of international
Lata,
examples.
I just want to add to that.
Yeah, please go ahead, Shri.
Sorry, Lata, I just wanted to add to that because what I am given to understand, and I posed that question when I got the story as a confirmation that what was the reason that the RBI has cited, and I was told governance, regulatory, compliance, etc. So that's what I've been told. The Reserve Bank, in its communication, has cited governance, regulatory and compliance related issues, I would imagine. But we don't have more clarity on that. But that's the limited point that I wanted to make in response to the question that I'd specifically asked.
Okay, no, Shireen, I just want to put on the table, when I was doing research on how, other central banks effect changes, I was told that the Bank of England, when it is uncomfortable with a managing director, merely calls the chairman of the board and asks, what is your succession plan? That is hint enough that they have to change. They don't even give reasons, is what I was told. But Sandeep Parekh, go ahead. My point is this going to be institutionally a little challenging because this is the first promoter-run bank when the promoter is being told to step down?
Yes, I think the whole institutional framework for banking itself is, I think, needs to change. I think the whole concept of regulators sitting on bank boards itself is very, very dubious to start with. So these are all, the RBI, the regulator deciding appointments.
Boards, do they? I don't think they sit on private sector boards, no?
No, they sit on public sector boards.
They sit on public sector boards.
Which is very dubious.
Yeah.
How can you be the regulator and the regulatee?
Yeah.
No, I agree.
It's completely absurd.
Yeah, actually, every governor, if I remember right, has been pleading with the government that they should not be sitting. But the government's position is, you are supervisor, you better sit there as a supervisor. So, I mean, that's an ongoing battle. But my point is more, do you expect trouble? Will Yes Bank be able to handle this change of guard? Because this is the first instance where a promoter has been told. In fact, we don't even have an example of a promoter going on to making the bank institutionalized.
Yeah. No, let us see. Basically, I can guarantee you this letter of RBI is going to be very, very abstract in terms of governance and transparency and all blah, blah. It will not be anything which you can pin RBI with. I'm reasonably sure of that. So, which is exactly my problem. I think there should be a framework, and they should say, yes, you can certainly hang whoever you want to hang, but it should be a clear kind of framework. And when I said stuff about RBI sitting on boards, I'm just trying to say that there should be a very clear and comprehensive framework of appointment of directors, of governance, of transparency. All these issues should be very well thought out. And even SEBI used to, if you remember, 20 years back, SEBI used to sit on the boards of exchanges, and many of them blew up. SEBI is evolved. I think RBI needs to evolve.
Okay. Okay, let me quickly get in a view from the markets. Lata, we've got Mr. Tulsian with us. Mr. Tulsian, it is now confirmed, sir. This is, of course, still source-based information. We are still waiting for an official confirmation, which I believe is expected shortly. But RBI has told Yes Bank that Mr. Rana Kapoor's tenure ends in January of 2019.
Shireen, I think this will not get liked by the market because now probably people will start speculating the reason for extension having not been given to Rana Kapoor. And I think this will be setting a precedent now, whether RBI will be taking a general call of promoters not allowing as a CEO of the bank, and that if that happens, that will be seen again, negative for the market. Yeah.
Okay, so you expect the share to tank. Well, I'm more worried about whether there will be any problem in the bank itself. Your sense, Ashwin Parekh?
Yeah, see, I mean, as a practitioner, I've been working with several banks, and I've been working with, people in all the, rungs of the management. I must say that, off late, in the last 3-4 years, I've seen a bit of a churn at Yes Bank. Compared with perhaps the kind of stability that the other private sector banks have enjoyed.
Yeah.
So to that extent, and then there is no visible successor. In some of the other banks you knew, you could almost name visible successors. But in this particular case, there's no visible successor. So it's going to be a challenge, I must admit.
Yeah, if you took away Shikha Sharma, you could run Axis Bank with Srini Varadarajan and Rajiv, Sabarwal. It was possible. If you Rajiv Anand, if you took away Chanda Kochar, you could still run the bank with Kannan, who was there before, and the other heads, Vishakha and co. In Yes Bank, you only think of Rana Kapoor as running the entire bank. That really is my fear, Mr. Tulsian. Would that be a bother for even investors?
See, Lata, that may not be, or that may be just what you call far-fetched imagination. I don't think that Yes Bank kind of institution or bank can run by a single person. There may be, yes, actually one can always say that you have only seen one face. Now take the case of RBL Bank. If I say that Vishwabir Ahuja and the second Ahuja are the only face, who comes on the media, does not mean that they only run the bank. So I won't be taking that as that may be the far-fetched negative or apprehension, being seen in case of Yes Bank, because this is again a sizable and big bank. Maybe, because always you have one face getting projected. Take the case of IDFC Bank tomorrow, Vaidyanathan will be projected as a person. So they must be having the organization hierarchy, who will all be taking care of. But the serious issues which needs to be checked and, will be examined by the market in respect to the Yes Bank, that what are the regulatory or maybe the issues which has seen that extension of 3 years having not been given to Rana Kapoor.
Well, all I know, sir, is that the RBI directive to Yes Bank cites governance, regulatory and compliance related issues. What those are, I don't have the information, but when I did check when is this going to be made official, what I was told is that this is the information that the Reserve Bank has conveyed and that the exchanges will be notified shortly, is what I am given to understand. So that is the expectation, that the exchanges will be officially informed about this development. But let me bring in a quick set of wrap-up comments now. Mr. Tulsian, very quickly from a trading perspective, your call tomorrow?
See, this will definitely be seeing negative. Tomorrow markets are closed. Maybe on Friday, I won't be surprised to see the share of tanking, maybe below 300 rupees. But thereafter, probably people will start speculating that even people will go far-fetched also, that whether there can be a change in the overall promoter and the management. That means Yes Bank is available for sale, and that can again be because there will be many takers for this kind of bank. So people will start again, taking the valuation call on the stock below 300 rupees. But the issues now, Shirin, at this stage will be, since you have said of the three regulatory compliance and, this one, all three are seen to be the serious violations. And if that happens, even those kind of things are not even acceptable in case of a SEBI market intermediary.
Absolutely.
And this is the bank, which in fact is managing the money. So that people will be first, maybe trying to ascertain those reasons, maybe couple of days negative, but then definitely market will start taking this as a takeover target by some strong banks and all that, which will be seen again, positive. So maybe 300 rupees seem to be the support or bottom for the stock where the renewed bank should come.
My own sense is the regulator will not wash any dirty linen in public for sure, because nobody wants a run on the bank. Nobody wants financial disruption at this time. So my sense is that it will be handled with absolute opaqueness and abstraction. And I, for one, am comfortable with this at this point in time. Sandeep Parekh, very quick winding up comments. What do you think will be the impact on the bank?
No, I think there will certainly be disruption because it's a pretty short time frame for the CEO come the emperor to leave the bank. So my guess would be there will be kind of some disruption, not just in the financial markets and the stock price, but also in terms of the internal there is no
internal
clear
hierarchies.
succession planning. Yeah, so I think there will certainly be some trouble ahead. But at some point, obviously, in a few months, things will settle down.
Yeah, I would expect things like loan growth and all to take a back seat because people would just want to know continuity. Ashwin Parekh, very quickly, what's your sense in terms of how what Mr. Tulsian is saying will evolve? Do you think there will be guesses about mergers and takeovers? Or do you think this is only going to be a finding of a successor and the onus will lie on the board?
Well, I mean, quickly, I must say that, I've practiced in 4 other jurisdictions outside of India, and nowhere have I seen, any regulator getting into the detail of why they had to, they take a certain
They never
action.
tell, yes.
They never do that, in fact. So that's one. The second thing that I would observe is that, let's say, some amount of disruption, and I think acquisition or merger acquisition seems to me to be a little at distance, a far-fetched one. But I would certainly believe that there will be a certain amount of disruption. And then, of course, look at the positive side of it. If the new leader brings in a new sort of, direction or a new fresh air into the management, then perhaps the shareholders will benefit.
Yes, absolutely. Gentlemen, completely out of time. Sandeep Parekh, Ashwin Parekh and Mr. Tulsian, thank you very much for joining us. Remember, there are quite a few bankers who have resigned lately. I don't want to name names, but there are people floating with extraordinary banking experience. Let me leave you with that thought. Thank you very much for watching this special show.